And now we'll bring up Gervonta Tank Davis as
The press conference for Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach's rematch erupted into a huge brawl when Tank threw a chair at Lamont Roach. It was more about action than words for the World Boxing Association lightweight champion, who is ready to prove himself in the ring on fight night. However, the tension started with Lamont Roach and escalated with Roach's supporters in the audience.
They never gonna stop nothing, no way. He gonna pay for it. I guarantee he paid for it. I guarantee he paid for it. I guarantee it. Come to the fight. Come to the fight.
Exchange, what did you want to say to him?
He a front runner like everybody else that fought. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay.
So you said he's a front runner just like everyone else you fought?
For the people that's here. That's all he's doing. Showing off for them. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's showing off. He ain't had none of this energy any other time. Now, no, it's not. No, it's...
The anticipation for the rematch continues to grow, with the animosity between Davis and Roach adding even more intensity to the upcoming fight. Their rivalry has made this showdown one of the most highly anticipated events in boxing. Fans are on edge, eager to see if Davis will live up to his boast and silence Roach once and for all, or if Roach will fulfill his promise and take the belt for good.
It's always an electric atmosphere when you step into the ring. And once again, the last time you were in Barclays Center, you broke records. They're anticipating those records to be broken. What happens as Gervonta Tank Davis defends his world title again?
Same old, same old. I get the people what they want to see, man. Explosive knockouts and shit like that. That's what come with me. So
the drama continued backstage as Davis threatened Roach, vowing to finish him in their upcoming fight. Reports claim Davis cornered Roach, pointing at him and saying, "I'm coming for you again. This time there's no running, no excuses. I'm going to prove who the real champ is." Roach, unfazed, remains confident in his ability to outbox Davis and claim the lightweight title. The tension between the two was thick as they faced off in front of a packed MGM Grand audience in Las Vegas. This rematch follows their first fight, which ended in a controversial decision, with many questioning the officiating. Despite securing a draw, Davis's camp has openly criticized the result, while Roach's team believes he was denied a well-deserved victory.
When they start talking, when the people that fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get dumb. I'm gonna beat his ass when y'all talking. Y'all better be quiet. All that, twist it up. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Mother, he can't shut nothing. Not at all. Never. Nothing.
The controversy from their first fight has only deepened the rivalry, making the upcoming rematch even more thrilling. Originally scheduled for June 21st, the fight has been postponed to late summer or early fall, giving Davis more time to prepare. Despite the delay, both fighters are gearing up for what promises to be a fierce battle for pride, legacy, and the lightweight title. The drama from the press conference has sparked strong reactions from fans and fighters alike, with many praising the increasing intensity and excitement surrounding the fight. One fan remarked, "What stands out to me is that Gervonta Davis has finally found a true rival. He's run out of intimidation tactics against Roach, and now it seems like violence is his only choice. What a disgrace to boxing."
It's me and you, folks. Tank. It's me and you, folks. Don't worry about them. They might get you. They gonna keep you on the spot.
would you ideally like to get him out of there?
Man, everybody on the first.
I'm loving the drama between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis. This is definitely shaping up to be the fight of the year. The tension at the press conference was electric, and I'm definitely tuning in for their rematch, said one fan. Another added, it's going to be a war, a crazy one. Davis needs to prove himself again after that close call last time. I'm hyped to see how these two will clash in the ring, and I hope Lamont wins this one. A third fan wrote, Gervonta Davis is going to shut Lamont Roach down. Roach thinks he can outbox Davis, but he's got another thing coming. Davis's power is unmatched, and he's going to prove why he's the champ. Roach might have some skills, but he's no match for Tank's ferocity. Davis is going to come out on top, no question.
Shit, I'm trying to knock anybody out. I don't care if it was him, if it was anybody else. I'm trying to knock everybody out.
Hey, we're gonna knock him out the first round.
You heard where he come from.
Everybody in this room right now know what's going on. Come on, stop. Stop. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know how I'm coming. Y'all know how I'm coming. So stop. Stop it. Stop it. Y'all want to make it hard for him. That's what y'all want to do. Y'all want to make it hard for him.
Another fan commented, Lamont Roach Jr. is a beast. He gave Davis a run for his money last time, and I'm confident he can do it again. Roach's speed and agility will give Davis problems, and I think he might just pull off the upset. Davis is underestimating Roach at his own peril. Roach is going to prove he's the better fighter. The stage is now set for an unforgettable showdown between two talented boxers, each determined to prove their worth. With Davis's immense power and Roach's speed, the stage is primed for an electrifying clash that will leave only one champion standing. As Davis and Roach continue their verbal sparring, the big question remains: who will emerge victorious in the rematch? Meanwhile, Frank Martin, who faced Gervonta Davis in his last fight, had something wild to say about the outcome.
Want to compete with Roach, but what did you think about that fight? Like, did you think it was competitive?
Yeah, I think it was competitive. I feel like with them having I feel like the relationship that they got or they had, you know, as far as coming up together and kind of knowing the same people, working with the same people, it kind of was more of the fight was more of like a, I feel like so Roach came out and fought his.
Forgive Frank Martin for being a bit critical about Gervonta Davis's underwhelming performance against Lamont Roach. Martin fought Davis in June 2024, facing what many consider to be the best version of Tank to ever step into the ring. Martin managed to land his desired offense in the first 3 rounds, as Davis started his usual slow pace. However, as the fight progressed, Davis turned up the pressure, relentlessly stalking Martin across the ring and pushing him into corners. In the 8th round, Davis delivered a crushing left uppercut against the ropes that Martin never saw coming, leaving him dazed with glazed eyes. A follow-up clean left hand sent Martin crashing to the canvas, where he stayed for the count.
Best fight they could possibly fight, right? Against Tank. He came out with his A game, boom. And I feel like Tank came in that fight not underestimating Roach, but more like we got history. I know what he like, basically, but Roach is gonna automatically have more of a little spark because he tried to get that spot. And Tank probably just like, I know you. I'ma do what I want to do to you. Or I'ma do what I've done to you. Cause I know they fought prior. The fights might have been close or whatever, but.
Davis faced a tougher challenge against Roach this past March. Roach effectively countered his counters, absorbed his shots, and even pushed the World Boxing Association lightweight title holder back. Many viewers believed Roach deserved the win, with the fight ending in a draw. Martin believes the close contest was due to both Davis underperforming and Roach having the night of his life. Roach came out and fought the best fight he could possibly fight, Martin told Ron Goodall of Fight Hype. He came in with his A game. I feel like Tank didn't fully engage in that fight. He fought more relaxed and chilled, not really trying to get him out of there. I think he thought the fight would be easier than it turned out to be.
I feel like Tank fought that fight not like fully like trying to get off. I don't feel like, you know, like he fought it more relaxed and chill instead of, you know, really trying to get him up out of there. I think that he thought the fight may have been easier than what it was. But you know, Roach did his thing. He took advantage of that. And shit, the fight came to a draw. But I think the rematch, honestly,
The biggest source of controversy in the fight came when Davis took a knee in the 9th round after a jab from Roach landed on his face. Davis quickly rushed to his corner, where a trainer wiped his face with a towel. After the fight, Davis explained that his eyes were stinging due to hair grease running into them. Referee Steve Willis began his count, as per usual when a fighter takes a knee, but did not call a knockdown or disqualify Davis for receiving corner assistance mid-round. Martin suggested that Davis benefited from some bias, saying, "It was a close fight," he told Goodall. "I feel like the draw was fair, but with him taking a knee, like I said, Tank knows they're going to give it to their man. They're going to give it to the guy who brings in all the money."
It's gonna be a good fight still, but I think Tank may get him up out of there this fight. And even with the knockdown and all that stuff too, I know you probably was gonna ask me about that. It was a close ass fight. I feel like the draw was cool, but with him taking the knee, like I say, Tank. You know, like they gonna give it to their man. They gonna give it to the guy with for bringing in all the money.
When asked if Tank fought better against him than Roach, Martin replied, for sure, hell yeah. I felt like he was a lot more locked in for me than he was for Roach. Roach is a good fighter, but I just felt he was more focused when he fought me." He went on to explain, "When you fight a puncher, fighters who can punch, you're going to be more on your stuff. You're going to be more on your A game because you know a guy can catch you with something." He probably didn't feel the same way when he fought Roach. As for the upcoming August 16th rematch between Tank and Roach, Martin leans in favor of Davis, stating, "I think the rematch is going to be a good fight, but I think Tank may get him out of there."
It was a close fight overall, but the rematch, I feel like Tank gonna do. He gonna turn up on this next one.
You think he was locked in more with you than Roach, or you think it was kind of?
Oh, for sure. Hell yeah. I feel like he was a lot more locked in with me than Roach. Roach a good fighter. Roach a good fighter, but I just feel like it was more. He was more locked in when it came to me. Just because, you know, when you fight a.
Martin has also expressed his willingness to fight Roach and took a subtle jab at Roach's well-publicized celebration tour following their fight, which many considered a moral victory, but not an actual win. "I'm willing to fight him for sure, with his big head," Martin said. Meanwhile, Gervonta Davis's rival, Rolando "Raleigh" Romero, believes that the man who handed him his first career defeat, Davis, will come out on top in the rematch against Lamont Roach. "I'd take Tank," Romero said regarding a Davis-Roach rematch, "because I think Tank will make the necessary adjustments."
I definitely felt it.
I truly but that also didn't seem like just Tank in general, and
so was that Lamar and Tank's fault?
And I will tell you this, Tank, I know for a fact, was sparring a 122 pounder, and that was the only person he sparred all camp. Literally all camp that he sparred a 122 pounder.
Was he taller than these guys?
No, he's shorter than Tank.
Wow.
Or him and Tank the same height. Like I said, Tank wasn't really training.
That people want to discredit Tank as, and he's still a pound for pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night.
Romero, whom Davis knocked out in the 6th round of their lightweight title fight in March 2022 at Barclays Center, isn't sure who won the 12-round fight Saturday night for Davis's WBA 135 LB championship. While Romero respects Roach and praised his performance against Davis, he predicted that Davis will learn from his mistakes made that night at Barclays Center and apply those improvements in the gym when he faces Roach again. Romero discussed the controversial draw between Davis and Roach and its aftermath with The Ring, before a press conference to promote his upcoming fight against Ryan Garcia on May 2nd in Times Square. Lamont Roach took everyone in the boxing world by surprise that day, Romero said.
Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night with Cruz. Everyone has a night in boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
Maybe down the line.
Roach is a tremendous fighter, bro. He's a really good fighter, man, dude. He beat Hector Garcia, and then he took the belt from him, and he came up, and I know he's a lot more durable and stronger at 135,
He's also seen Tank the most in previous fights before. Like
they already had 2 fights, bro.
Yeah, so that's why
I think he even surprised himself, Romero continued. Well, I'm not going to say that, because he went in there very confident and composed. He fought like a true professional, and it was a very close fight. That doesn't take anything away. From Tank, though, Tank is a 3-division world champion, one of the greatest fighters of our generation. Lamont Roach had a really good day against him. I feel like that rematch needs to happen because there are some controversies behind it. The random knee, none of the punches hit him, and it wasn't like an aggressive round until that moment. So, it was just out of nowhere, There's a lot of controversy, and they didn't count the knee as a knockdown. But if they had, Gervonta would have lost. But like I said, Lamont Roach was very patient and took his time in that fight, and he fought like a real professional.
2 fights.
Tank and Roach, they fought twice before in the amateurs.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, they had history and they sparred a good amount of times, and all that stuff. Yeah, but.
So you think a rematch? Do you think this remotivated Tank? And do you think a rematch, Tank just goes in and wins that fight?
I don't know, bro. We gotta see what like if it was a Tank tag.
With the rematch on the horizon, Ryan Garcia hasn't held back in sharing his prediction, adding further excitement to the upcoming clash. In an interview with ES News, Garcia revealed his thoughts on the fight, saying, "I got Tank. I think he'll shift into a different gear. I think he just thought it would be easier than it was and assumed Roach would fold, but he didn't. Now Tank should expect a tougher fight, and I think he'll win the rematch." Garcia's perspective, shaped by his own experience with Davis, adds another layer of intrigue to the matchup. He believes Davis underestimated Roach in their first encounter and will bring a higher level of intensity and focus in the rematch.
What I've seen in the fight, I thought Lamont won, and I think the commission does need to do something with that knee, because if they don't, then all of us are going to think we could take a knee anytime we want. They got to do something about it. I mean, they did something about me, you got to do something about other people. Rules are rules, right?
Right.
It's just, I like Tank though, personally, but a rule is a rule. You can't go and take a knee and then just expect not to be a knockdown. You can't get away with it, stuff like that.
When you say 1 foot in boxing and 1 foot out.
Ryan Garcia's prediction for the rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has ignited passionate discussions among boxing fans, further building anticipation for the upcoming fight. Garcia's insights, based on his own experience facing Davis, add another layer of intrigue to the matchup. It's as if all of Davis's past opponents are eager to affirm his greatness by predicting his victory over Roach. They understand that if Roach pulls off a win, it would affect their own legacies, as they were defeated by a fighter who could be beaten. Shakur Stevenson, speaking to The Ring, also shared his thoughts on the rematch, suggesting that Davis will face just as much difficulty with Roach in their second encounter as he did in their first. The March 1st bout, which ended in a controversial majority draw at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, has continued to stir debate. Davis, the overwhelming favorite at 161 according to DraftKings, was expected to defeat Roach, who had moved up from the junior lightweight division. Despite this, the fight turned into a grueling contest that left fans wondering what's in store for their next showdown.
Too much confidence against Tank is a recipe for disaster, but it's low output, high accuracy. Good body shot there from Tank. There's another body shot from Davis. Straight right down the middle. Always a weapon against the southpaw. Lead left hook by Roach in the jab. Nothing there. There's a chopping right hand. Good punch from Roach. In fact, our unofficial scorer, Larry Hazard.
Had referee Steve Willis counted a knockdown, when Gervonta Davis took a knee early in the 9th round, Davis would have lost the decision to Lamont Roach. Just moments after taking a knee, Davis was assisted by his trainer, Calvin Ford, who wiped a substance from Davis's eyes that had blurred his vision. Willis, who did not pause the action, could have been within his rights to disqualify Davis for effectively calling a timeout by receiving corner assistance mid-round. Shakur Stevenson, a 3-division champion from Newark, New Jersey, was one of the few fighters who believed Roach would be a tough matchup for Davis. Many saw the fight as a way for Davis to stay active, but Stevenson, with his foresight, placed a significant bet on the fight going the distance and ended up winning, around $25,000.
You know, the Ring Magazine rankings did come out, and we know your accolades, we know what you've done. You know, Keyshawn's made a lot of noise recently, and that's your boy, but what do you think about him being ranked above you?
So what do you think about the rankings?
I mean, if you're asking me personally, Kevin Garcia, I think that you should be ranked #1.
Okay, so
based on your accolades.
The guy at #1 is a guy that just had a draw his last fight, right? Mm-hmm. So then, what are we talking about? It ain't really nothing to even talk about. It is what it is. I ain't.
Though Shakur Stevenson respects Lamont Roach, he wants Gervonta Davis to win their rematch. Stevenson views Davis as one of boxing's biggest stars and believes that a victory for Davis would present the most profitable opportunity for his own 24th professional fight.
So what do you think, you know, considering you were one of the handful of people to pick Lamont Roach, giving him a tough fight? What do you
I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So,
I would love that fight to happen, Stevenson told The Ring. But I'm not like everybody else who just assumes it's a rematch and Davis is going to walk in there and knock him out or make it an easy fight. I don't see it that way. I know Lamont. Roach has been waiting for this opportunity his whole life. I've been in the ring with him, and I've trained with him. I know who he is. I even placed a bet on that fight because I knew Roach wasn't going to get a fair decision. I bet on it going the distance.
Yo, you know, I kind of said 154. I probably was stretching it. I'm stretching 154, but I'll fight him at 147. 147, me and Conor could get it in.
Shakur, Johnny Boy Boxing and fight him. If you beat Zepeda, do you feel that's the toughest test of your career? And they'll give you the credit if you win?
No. Who knows? It's a never-ending process, you know. I think I stopped looking for credit because at the end of the day, once you get the credit, something else happen, they gonna move on anyway. So the credit really doesn't matter. It just matters how I feel, what I feel after the fight.
Despite Roach's strong performance in their first fight, Davis, the ring's #1 ranked lightweight contender, opened as a 6-1 favorite for their rematch, according to FanDuel. Stevenson, ranked 3rd by The Ring in the 135-pound division, continues to disagree with much of the public's perception of their 12-round rematch. That's all for now. For the latest updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you're alerted when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace.